Machine. Device that changes force needed to do work. Magnetic field. Space around a magnet throughout which magnetic force exists. Magnification. Ratio of size of an optical image to the size of the object. Manipulated variable. Variable that the experimenter can change. Mass defect. Mass equivalent of the binding energy m is equal to EC square. Mass number. Number of nucleons, protons plus neutrons, in the nucleus of an atom. Mass spectrometer. Device used to measure the mass of atoms or molecules. Matter wave. Wave-like properties of particles such as electrons. Mechanical advantage. Ratio of resistance force to effort force in a machine. Mechanical energy. Sum of potential and kinetic energy. Mechanical resonance. Condition at which natural oscillation frequency equals frequency of driving force, amplitude of oscillatory motion at a maximum. Mechanical wave. Wave consisting of periodic motion of matter, example, sound wave or water wave, as opposed to electromagnetic wave. Melting point. Temperature at which substance changes from solid to liquid state. Meson. Medium mass subatomic particle consisting of combination of a quark and antiquark. Meter. SI unit of length. Mirror equation. 1 by dO plus 1 by di is equal to 1 by f, where dO is object distance, di is image distance, f is focal length. Moderator. Material used to decrease speed of neutrons in nuclear reactor. Momentum. Product of object's mass and velocity. Monochromatic light. Light of a single wavelength. Mutual inductance. Measures the amount of overlap between the magnetic flux produced in one coil and that which passes through a second coil, thus the amount of EMP induced in a secondary coil by the varying flux in the primary coil. Myopia. Defect of eye commonly called nearsightedness, in which distant objects focus in front of the retina. N-type semiconductor. Semiconductor in which current is carried by electrons. Net force. Vector sum of forces on object. Neutral. Object that has no net electric charge. Neutrino. Chargeless, massless, subatomic particle emitted with beta particles, type of lepton. Neutron. Subatomic particle with no charge and mass slightly greater than that of proton, type of nucleon. Newton. SI unit of force. Newton's law of motion. Laws relating force and acceleration. Node. Point where disturbances caused by two or more waves result in no displacement. Normal. Perpendicular to plane of interest. Normal force. Force perpendicular to surface. Nuclear equation. Equation representing a nuclear reaction. Nuclear fission. Reaction in which large nucleus splits into two parts, often approximately equal in mass. Nuclear fusion. Reaction in which two nuclei are combined into one. Nuclear reaction. Reaction involving the strong force in which the number of protons or neutrons in a nucleus changes. Nuclear reactor. Device in which nuclear fusion is used to generate electricity. Nuclear transmutation, change of one nucleus into another as the result of nuclear reaction. Nucleon, either a proton or a neutron. Nuclide, nucleus of an isotope. Octave, interval between two frequencies with a ratio of 2 to 1. Ohm, SI unit of resistance, 1 volt per ampere. Ohm's law, resistance of object is constant, independent of voltage across it. Opaque, material that does not transmit light. Open pipe resonator, cylindrical tube with both ends closed and a sound source at one end. P-type semiconductor, semiconductor in which conduction is the result of motion of holes. Pair production, formation of particle and antiparticle from gamma rays. Parabolic mirror, mirror the shape of a paraboloid of revolution that has no spherical aberration. Parallel circuit, circuit in which there are two or more paths for current flow. Parallel connection, connection of two or more electrical devices between 2 points to provide more than one current path. Pascal, SI unit of pressure, 1 neutron per square meter. Pascal's principle, pressure applied to a fluid is transmitted undiminished throughout it. Period, time needed to repeat one complete cycle of motion. Periodic motion, motion that repeats itself at regular intervals of time. Photoelectric effect, election of electrons from surface of metal exposed to electromagnetic radiation. Photon, quantum of electromagnetic waves, particle aspect of these waves. Photovoltaic cell, device that converts electromagnetic radiation into electrical energy. Physics, study of matter and energy and their relationship. Piezoelectricity, electric potential produced by deforming material. Pigment, colored material that absorbs certain colors and transmits or reflects others. Pitch, perceived sound characteristics equivalent to frequency. Planck's constant, ratio of energy of photon to its frequency. Plane mirror, flat, smooth surface that reflects light regularly. Plasma, state of matter in which atoms are separated into electrons and positive ions or bare nuclei. Point object, object idealized as so small to be located at only one position. Polarized light, light in which electric fields are all in same plane. Position, separation between object and a reference point. Position time graph, graph of object's motion that shows how its position depends on clock reading or time. Positron, antiparticle equivalent of electron. Potential difference, difference in electric potential between 2 points. Potential energy, energy of object due to its position or state. Potentiometer, electrical device with variable resistance, rheostat. Power, rate of doing work, rate of energy conversion. Precision, degree of exactness in a measurement. Pressure, force per unit area. Primary coil, transformer coil that, when connected to voltage source, creates varying magnetic flux. Primary light colors, red, green or blue light. Primary pigment, yellow, green, or magenta light. Principal axis. Line connecting center of curvature of spherical mirror with its geometric vertex. Line perpendicular to plane of lens passing through its center. Principle of superposition. Displacement due to two or more forces is equal to vector sum of forces. Projectiles. Motion of objects given initial velocity that then move only under force of gravity. Quantized. A quantity that cannot be divided into smaller increments forever, for which there exists a minimum quantum increment. Quantum mechanic. Study of properties of matter using its wave properties. Quantum model of atom. Atomic model in which only probability of locating electron is known. Quantum number. Integer ratio of energy to its quantum increment. Quark. Basic building block of protons, neutrons, other baryons and mesons. Quark model. Model in which all particles that interact via the strong interaction are composed of 2 or 3 quarks. Radiation. Electromagnetic waves that carry energy. Radioactive decay. Spontaneous change of unstable nuclei into other nuclei. Radioactive materials. Materials that undergo radioactive decay. Range of projectile. Horizontal distance between launch point of projectile and where it returns to launch height. Ray model of light. Light may be represented by straight line along direction of motion. Ray optics. Study of light using ray model. Rayleigh criterion. Two optical images are separable if central bright spot of one image falls on first dark band of second. Real image. Optical image at which rays from object converge. Receiver. Device that detects electromagnetic waves. Reference level. Location at which potential energy is chosen to be zero. Reference point. Zero location in a coordinate system or frame of reference. Refraction. Change in direction of light ray when passing one medium to another. Refractive index. Ratio of speed of light in vacuum to that in the medium. Resistance. Ratio of potential difference across device to current passing through it. Resistance force. Force exerted by a machine. Resistor. Device designed to have a specific resistance. Responding variable. Variable that changes as result of change in manipulated variable. Rest energy. Energy due to mass of object. Resultant. Vector sum of two or more vectors. Right-hand rules. Used to find force on current or moving particle in magnetic field. Used to find direction of magnetic field caused by current or of induced EMF. Rutherford's model of atom. Nuclear model of atom, essentially all mass in compact, positively charged object at center surrounded by electrons. Scalar. Quantity, like distance, that has only a magnitude or size. Schematic diagram. Representation of electric circuit using symbols. Scientific notation. Numbers expressed in form m star 10 raised to n, where 1 lesser than m lesser than 10 and n is an integer. Scintillation. Flash of light emitted when substance is struck by radiation. Second. SI unit of time. Secondary coil. Transformer coil in which varying EMF is induced. Secondary light colors: yellow, cyan or magenta light. Secondary pigment: red, green or blue pigment. Self-inductance: induced EMF produced in coil by changing current. Semiconductor: material in which electrical conduction is smaller than that in a conductor but more than in insulator. Second law of thermodynamics. Heat flow only from region of high temperature to region of lower temperature. Series circuit. Circuit in which electrical current flows through each component one after another. Series connection. Arrangement of electrical devices so that there is only one path through which current can flow. Short circuit. Low resistance connection between 2 points, often accidental. SI. Internationally agreed upon method of using the metric system of measurement. Significant digit. Reliable digits reported in a measurement. Simple harmonic motion. Motion caused by linear restoring that has a period independent of amplitude of motion. Simple machine. Machine consisting of only one lever, inclined plane, wedge, screw, pulley or wheel and axle. Sine. The ratio of the opposite side and the hypotenuse. Sliding friction. Force between two surfaces in relative motion. Slope. Ratio of the vertical separation or rise to the horizontal separation or run. Solid. State of matter with fixed volume and shape. Sound level. Quantity measuring logarithm of sound intensity in decibels. Spark chamber. Device used to detect path of charged subatomic particles by a spark that jumps along path of ionization created in a gas. Specific heat. Thermal energy needs to change temperature of unit mass of substance 1 Kelvin. Spectroscope. Device used to study spectrum of material. Spectrum. Collection of wavelengths in electromagnetic spectrum. Speed. Ratio of distance travelled to time interval. Speed of light. In vacuum, 2.9979458 star 10 raised to 8 meters per second. Spherical aberration. Inability of spherical mirror to focus all parallel rays to a single point. Standing wave. Wave with stationary nodes. Static friction. Force that opposes start of motion between two surfaces. Step-down transformer. Transformer with output voltage smaller than input voltage. Step-up transformer. Transformer with output voltage larger than input voltage. Stimulated emission. Emission of photon from excited atom caused by impact of photon of same energy. Strong nuclear force. Force of very short range that holds neutrons and protons in nucleus together. Superconductor. Electrical conductor that has no resistance and low temperatures. Surface wave. wave on surface of liquid with characteristics of both longitudinal and transverse waves. Symmetry, property that is now charged when operation or reference frame is charged. Synchrotron, device to accelerate particles in which particles move in circular path. System, defined collection of objects.